On a beautiful summer day, people all over the country are getting together on golf courses to enjoy the weather, play the sport, do some business, or maybe all of these combined. But on this particular day, these four men have come together for a very different reason, and that is to help you feel better about yourself. Ken is in computer sales in Chicago. Peter is a sales motivator in Chicago. Bill is an electrical contractor in Washington, D.C. Claude works in engineering in Houston. Aside from the fact that they can't hit a golf ball straight, they all share a much less obvious attribute, and that is that all four of these men were once almost as bald as this. In the U.S., 30% of the men who are 30 years old have some form of hair loss. At 40, it's 40%. 50, it's 50%. And so it goes.
But if you're like I was, you probably don't care about facts and figures. What you care about is your hair loss and what you can do about it. Well, just by sending for this tape, you've probably done the hardest part, and that is you've accepted the fact that your baldness is bothering you, and you're trying to find out what you can do about it. And that's why this tape and the PUIG Medical Group is here for you. Not just to show you how you can have hair growing on your head again, but with your own natural hair, you'll look and feel better about yourself again. It's amazing how hair loss can affect one's outlook and attitude every day. Just look at any woman's magazine, and right in the cover you'll find articles about hair. Bad hair days and how to fix them. What to do when your hair won't work for you. Your hair makes a statement about you. But when your hair isn't there, every day's a bad hair day. But I don't have to tell you that, do I? I'm sure you've tried potions and lotions and maybe even toupees or weaves, but you've come to the same conclusion that I did, and that is nothing, and I mean nothing, beats having your own hair growing on your head again. And what this tape is designed to do is to educate you on PUIG Medical Group, what makes them different from the rest and better than the best, plus to show you samples of the work PMG has done and the reactions their patients have had to having their own natural hair grow again. Let me introduce a physician who is truly an artist, the founder and medical director of PUIG Medical Group, Dr. Carlos Puig.
PUIG Medical Group is proud of the fact that we've had over 2 decades of experience in helping people feel better about themselves. Since 1973, we've had years of excitement and frustration. By far, the new technologies of the last few years have been the most gratifying. Modern medicine has known for years what created baldness. You see, balding or thinning individuals inherit a pattern of hair follicles sensitive to one of the byproducts of male hormone. It is this chemical, dihydrotestosterone, that will destroy the sensitive hair follicles.
At puberty, the testosterone level rises, and the sensitive hair follicles begin to deteriorate. Over a period of years, the follicle produces finer, shorter hairs, and eventually stops producing hair completely. So, individuals inherit a pattern of sensitive hair follicles. But those follicles outside the pattern, on the back and sides of the head, are not sensitive to the hormone and remain strong and productive throughout the person's lifetime. Hair replacement surgery simply relocates the immune or strong, healthy follicles from the back and sides of the head to the bald or thinning areas, so they may eventually give a person the appearance of a full head of hair. We call this region of immune hair follicles that are programmed to last a lifetime the donor area.
There are several ways a hair replacement surgeon can relocate the donor hair into the balding area. The most popular is with hair transplantation or grafting. Another is with the use of flaps.
The most common and simplest flap procedure is called a scalp reduction. The surgery is very straightforward and performed under local anesthesia. Its intent is to lift the back and side hair, reducing the size of the crown balding area and lifting the side hair to reduce the balding area on top as well. It's like a facelift on top of your head. Some patients can have 2 or 3 scalp reductions included in their treatment plans. PMG has performed over 5,000 scalp reductions in the last 20 years. Another, more sophisticated flap procedure is the bitemporal or brandy flap. This procedure is considerably more extensive because it extends the flap beyond the scalp into the upper neck and requires the patient to be sedated or put to sleep. Experience has proven that in carefully selected patients, the same results as 2 or 3 scalp reductions can be obtained in one brandy flap procedure. The most difficult of the flap procedures, which is rarely performed, is the URI, or the temporal rotation flap. This procedure requires a skilled surgeon and entails 2 minor surgeries with local anesthesia and the services of an anesthetist on one procedure. Breaking this technique down into its most simplistic form, the surgeon takes a section of hair and scalp and lifts it up and then folds it over onto an area of the scalp that is bald. At a later surgery, shortly thereafter, the crease in the fold at the base of the flap often needs adjusting. As you can see, the URI flap gives the patient the immediate gratification of having hair, but it is the most radical. Because of the nature of the rotation, the hair is now growing backwards, so refinement of the hairline with single hair grafts is often needed. Probably the most recent innovation in advanced flap technology is the new development of the Frichet extended scalp reduction. Dr. Patrick Frichet, a Parisian hair replacement surgeon, has invented the scalp extender. Essentially, the extender is an elastic band placed under the skin during a scalp reduction. This mechanism applies a gentle tension to the side flaps of the healing scalp reduction, causing the hair-bearing skin on the sides of the patient's head to stretch or extend. Expansion of the hair-bearing scalp by the extender increases the amount of bald area removed in the second scalp reduction by as much as 70% and shortens the time between scalp reductions to only 3 weeks. Not everyone is a candidate for this technique, but for those who are, it will remove so much bald area that a slot or incorrect direction of hair growth on the back of the head usually results. The design of the last scalp reduction is to eliminate the slot with 3 small hair-bearing flaps. Using the Frichet extended scalp reduction with carefully selected patients, we can virtually eliminate the crown bald area in 60 to 90 days. All of these reduction techniques are used to reduce balding areas and to maximize the use of the donor area to ensure that the hairline, the most important part of any transplant, is thick and full.
As I stated earlier, the cause of baldness and our ability to relocate donor areas has been known for years. But the artistry necessary for fine hair replacement was far behind our knowledge of anatomy and physiology. It was not until the late 1980s, with the introduction of incision grafting and its subsequent refinement by PMG into line grafting, that our physicians were able to sculpture your hairline to its most natural appearance.
Hair transplantation is by far the most common procedure for donor relocation. It is a simple outpatient surgery performed with local anesthesia and minimal risk. Most importantly, the use of individualized line grafts allows for the redirection of the hair growth and integration of multiple graft sizes and spaces to create a very natural appearing hairline, which is the most important part of every transplant. Line grafts are not round, but linear. They are set in very small slits, almost like a razor nick. When healed, they appear tapered front and back, and the hairs are not clustered in an unnatural manner. Because the grafts and the procedure are so refined, they heal faster, and the scarring and trauma to the area is kept to a minimum, and there is nearly a 100% yield of hair. Single hair grafts are the final touch toward creating the artistry of giving you a hairline that rivals Mother Nature's work. This basically is implanting one hair at a time along the front edge of the line grafts, providing you with the imperfect perfection of an overall natural look. In other words, to look natural, your hairline cannot be a straight line. The combination of line grafts finished with single hair grafts has allowed PMG physicians to significantly contribute to setting the standards of quality within our profession. Professional quality and a natural appearance has never before been so synonymous. Currently, PMG is the only surgical group who offers you every medical option available towards eliminating your baldness. Now more than ever, men and women across the United States have not only seen their own real natural hair growing where it wasn't, but they feel great about the person they see in the mirror every day.
When you're losing your hair, the world is one big mirror. The windows on the street, the lobbies of buildings, elevators, even your rear view mirror becomes an enemy that continually reminds you your hair is going. And all the potions and lotions I tried couldn't stop the wind from messing up the few strands I had left. I'd twist and I'd turn and I'd try to figure out the best way to walk just to keep my few hairs in place. My hair loss bothered me constantly. It was time for me to meet the PUIG medical group, just as it was time for each of these people.
And I love having hair, and whether it's gray, it could be green. It's the fact that it's there and it's growing, and I cut it and wash it, and it's natural. It's my own hair. I wouldn't have it any other way. Actually, my first transplant was in 1975. So here I am over, 18 years now, and very pleased. And my wife finally admitted to me just a couple of years ago, one of the happiest times of her life when I made the decision to get a hair transplant, because she really knew that I was going to feel better about myself, and I subsequently did feel better about myself. And looking back on it now, she admits to me that she was glad that I did it, and I took some action other than just going bald.
The physicians, the nurses, the office staff are all very, very professional and warm and caring people. For me, it was a choice of going through work before it was noticeable. I didn't want to wait, and with today's technology, that offer was there. I didn't have to wait, so why should I? I made the choice to go ahead and start procedures before my hair loss was obvious, and by doing so, nobody even knows that I've had it done. And it's natural looking and very hard to detect. So I'm very happy with what my choice was. This is a choice that you need to make yourself. The sooner you make an informed decision and a choice, the sooner you will begin to regain your hair growth. Truly, you can never start too soon with this.
My decision to go to PMG has affected my future. As I look at myself from day to day, I am gaining more confidence in myself. If I hadn't had the hair transplants and the scalp reductions, perhaps the thought would still be there of what I could have done, and I didn't do it.
Back in high school, my peers and a lot of people that I knew made fun of me, called me baldy and so forth. I think that's one of the hardest parts of losing your hair is the criticism by everybody. And it took a lot of courage to go in for consultation, to find out what I could do for myself. But once I got the procedure started, it just seemed like the right thing to do. By the time I was 25, I had a complete horseshoe. I believe it's like a type A baldness. And a brandy flap is more of a radical procedure, but I had the hair on the sides moved to the top. I had hair the next day. I can sit here today and say, yeah, it was worth it. I've gotten numerous compliments from different people, especially people I haven't seen in a while. They always ask me, well, you look different. What did you do to yourself? And most of the times I don't tell them. I just, I laugh along with them and keep them guessing. But I have gotten so many compliments here of late. It's just unbelievable. It's truly an ego boost.
To me, it just made me a very confident, aggressive businessman. To me, for some reason, I just did not like receding hair or thin hair. And even though some people it doesn't mean anything, some people it does, to me, I just felt like I felt more comfortable in public with more hair.
I was about 27 years old when I started losing my hair, started, I guess, accepting the fact that I was losing my hair. I was about 29 when I started looking into doing something about that, and I looked at all different kinds of what I thought at the time were solutions, the shampoos, the ointments, toupees, hair pieces, whatever, hair replacement, including certainly transplants. And they told me what the first procedure would be like. I was still apprehensive. I sat in the chair, and I can remember still having doubts at that time, wanting to get up and maybe try something else. But I hung tough. I hung through, and it was even better than they described. I mean, they said there may be some discomforts, which, you know, I felt none of it all.
I'm in the public almost 24 hours a day, dealing with people. I felt that I should look the best I possibly can, and having a hair transplant seemed to be the logical way to do it.
Beautiful. I can do that too, can I? Sure. See, we couldn't do this before. I couldn't do that. He'd go. Because, you know, he'd be afraid that the hairpiece would move around. So now I can just go, oh, good. And it's really real. And he's real happy, and that's what's important, I think.
They follow the natural growth pattern. If this growth pattern, if you have a full head of hair back here and the hair is growing forward, they continue that with a natural growth pattern. And being a stylist, I find that vitally important because you don't have any conflicting calyx when the hair begins to grow in, and it lays in a very natural state and easy to style at that point. I know that every patient that has come back to me from PMG has had the quality procedures done, and they don't fool their patients. They tell their patients what they can give them and don't set any higher expectations than what is able to be achieved. And then we just continue to style from that point. And I find that the hair, because of the way it's treated during the procedure, is much more lively than other transplant patients that I've seen in the salon. And the fact now that I have got a good head of hair in the front, I mean, my hair would have stopped right about here, and this is my natural hair back here, but all this is the transplanted areas. And I mean, I color the hair, I perm my hair, I do whatever I feel like to it, and just, you know, I've had it short last summer. This summer it's a little long. I have had it in many different styles, so it's allowed me to continue my life feeling as hair gives you a more youthful appearance.
At PMG, we have helped thousands of people just like you feel better about themselves through our caring and the use of contemporary techniques. We look forward to meeting and doing the same for you. I am confident our physicians, counselors, and staff will be sensitive to your specific needs and confidentiality. Rest assured, we will integrate our state-of-the-art technology, decades of experience and sensitivity to your individual needs to do all we can to make you totally satisfied with your results.
In approximately 4 hours, I'll be going to the PUIG Medical Group to see how hair transplantation works for me. I have been losing my hair for about 10 or 12 years, and thought we'd document everything on videotape and give you progressive updates about what's going on. Am I nervous? I'm sure you'll be nervous the day it's happening, but we'll see what's going on. Okay?
Okay.
All right, well, that should start us. If there's anything that I think should be documented after the surgery, I'll come back and show you.
Obviously, as I stated earlier, facts, figures, educational graphics, testimonials, experience, and quality of work can't tell you what PUIG Medical Group can do for you. And that really is what you want to know. You've gone over the first and most difficult hurdle of just admitting that your hair loss is bothering you. Now find out all the answers as they may pertain to you. Call the PUIG Medical Group today at one of their nationwide locations. The consultation is free, the knowledge and experience is second to none, and I'm living proof that the techniques are natural, undetectable, and will make you look and feel better about yourself today, tomorrow, and for the rest of your life. So go ahead, pick up the phone and call for your free consultation now. After all, what have you got to lose that you haven't already lost?
Call the location nearest you for your free consultation.